It's after 5 now and I'm sitting here knitting the black. The sun's just come out. It's been dull and miserable all day. The sun comes out when you don't want to go outside and do anything. But anyway, I'm nearly finished this row on here. And that's nearly up to the armholes. Haven't got much more to do. I'll be up to the armholes. But I finished the little cardigan that I was doing the day, the little jacket. This one. And I think I made a better job of it than the one pattern, because if you look on the pattern, see that green area? They haven't lined it up properly. It doesn't match both sides. I lined it up properly. But I'm not happy about the hood. I have put the a cloth over it and held the steam iron over it, because it is folding in like that. And I think if I'd realised what was going to happen with it, I think I would have done the hood separate and knit all this from here, from each round out the neck, started with a rib instead of this is garter stitches knitted on the side, and it makes like a ridge here, and that's how it's folding in. Probably be all right when it's on the baby's head, because the baby's head will keep it flat, but I don't like the way it looks on there. And I've done the little bits on the back, but it took me nearly as long to do all those little, I had to knit all those little motifs, the little sheep and the sun and that, and then put all the flowers on. But I don't like the other side of this. I'll turn it inside out and show you what I mean. You see all the bits and pieces. You can't hide the bits where you've put the things on, done the flowers and the sheep and the sun, and they're all sort of showing on the other side. There's no way you can hide those. So I wasn't happy with that either. I don't think I'll be doing that pattern again. I'm not happy with the actual pattern. I don't think it's, like I'm saying about the hood, I didn't like the way the hood came out, because I think the hood should have been stitched on. It should not have been carried on from the back, because it just doesn't look right. Carried straight up from the back. There's no sort of separation from the body to the hood. But I have my own ways of doing things, and it's not always the same as what the patterns say. But that one's finished anyway, and I'll be able to send it off to Sue with the other little cardigan that I did for her. It's a funny, awkward one to fold with it having the hood on. So I thought I would just get on now with my black. Pick the ball of wool up because it fell on the floor there. And since I finished that one, the next one I'll be starting on will be the pink, the rosebud lace ones. I'll be doing those. It's doing a 22 and a 24, but I will be doing a tutorial for both of those as well. So when I get the tutorials finished, I'll be putting that up on my other channel, as well as the tutorial I'm doing for this one as well. When I get that one done, there's a little bit more of that. I can manage 1 or 2 rows on that one. That there. But I will be at my granddaughter's tomorrow, so I'm not sure if I'll get started on the pink one or not straight away, but it all depends, and I do have to get a bit shopping in because I haven't got any sweets in for the kids. And that's the first thing they do as soon as I've had their tea. They always come. Well, I've had to stop them going into my knitting bag, you know, only because they're starting to go in before their tea and that, and because that's where I always take my knitting bag, and I always have the sweets in the bag. I used to hide them in the, there's a pocket on the front of it. I used to hide them in the pocket, but they know where that pocket is now. But that's the first thing they do. As soon as I've had their tea, they go straight in my knitting bag. And sometimes my knitting might be on top, and I end up having to put the stitches back on the needle, like, because they just pull it out, you know, like that, and without asking. So I said, no way, they haven't got to go in my bag. I will get the sweets out for them, if they deserve them, that is. So that's just a little bit to do for tomorrow, and I'm hoping that the weather's going to get a little bit better. It's a little bit warmer, so I can start getting things done in my garden again. I have managed to get a little bit done, but there's such an awful lot of weeds in the back garden. Well, there's weeds in the front garden as well, but I've managed to get some of them out when I cut the hedge the other day. But there is 2 other borders. I've only got 3 borders in the front. I've got one under the hedge, one along by the fence between mine and next doors, and one under my window. I did used to have a one up the side of the driveway as well, but everybody, if the car was on the driveway, everybody used to walk in and walk over the flowers, so we just dug it all over and put a little bit grass seed down and make it all that side up to the driveway is all alone now. And I was telling you 1 or 2 stories on my last video about my dog Kim. I can tell you 1 or 2 more stories about him. He was a lovely dog. He was lovely and gentle, and he was great with my grandkids when my 2 oldest ones, Cheryl and David, were little. They used to come to my house a lot. They used to stop at the weekend and that, and we had Kim then, and he was marvellous with them. No trouble at all. But he had a mind of his own and a will of his own. And when he wanted to do something, he did it. We used to take him for a walk outside of my back garden. We have now, at the moment now, we have a proper cycle path. And it comes down from the main road. We have a railway line that runs alongside it. It's outside the houses, the back gardens of the houses where the estate where I live. Well, years ago, there's a fence up there now to stop anybody getting onto the railway lines from on this track we used to go on. But at one time, the kids, when they used to come out of school, they used to take a shortcut over the railway lines, and they used to come across the field and down this track that way. I used to take my dog for a walk, and used to go over like a hump, a bit of a bank, and then down the railway lines, cross over the railway lines and cut through one of the gardens, and there they were onto our estate. Well, Kim knew about this track over the railway lines, and we used to go for, I think the very first time we noticed that, you know, he knew when there was bitches and heat. I took him for a walk up this track, and never used to put a lead on him once we were out the house, because they were all just tracks and wasteland and that. There was no need to put a lead on him. But we used to go up this, halfway up this track, and then there was a field. We used to cross over the field, and then there was a road on the other side of the field that came down to the scrapyard, and we used to walk down that road down to the scrapyard and go around what were the heaps and that at the time, and around the heaps, and come back round home. So we had a good long walk. Well, this first time was when we realised, you know, what he was like after the bitches and that were in heat. We're walking up this track and he was behind me and he seemed to be hanging behind the whole time, and I never realised what he was up to. And I just kept going up the track and turning round, and he was getting slower and slower, and I'm walking up the track again. There was a part where we crossed over a bridge, and when I got there I used to wait for him, and I turned round, he was gone. So I started walking back down the track looking for him. I thought, oh, he must be in the bushes somewhere, and that was when I realised, when I got further down, I seen him crossing over the lines. He would have known what garden he could get through to get to the estate at the front, and that was the first time we realised what he was like going after bitches, because he was only just a young dog. We hadn't lived there very long then. He was only 9 months old when we moved there in that to that house over 30 years ago, so it's quite a long time ago I'm talking about. But he was terrible. He was my husband's dog, because he always used to take him for his walks, and that until my husband started getting a little bit ill and couldn't manage it, and then I used to take him out. But if he wanted to do off, if he knew of anywhere that he wanted to be, he just used to do off and go. But once I started building doing the tracks, and there was a lot of houses starting to get built, I had to keep him on the lead when we took him out after that. But before that, we used to take him, of a night time, we used to take him around by the scrapyard when it was shut, because there always used to be a lot of cars and that there during the day. And we used to go round by the scrapyard, and used to be a lot of horses as well. There used to be, because the stables around where I live and that, and like riding school things and that, and we used to be walking around, and he was terrible. If there was any horse's muck, he'd roll in it. And this one day we had been out, and he had been rolling in it, and we got him home, and I said to my husband, he's going to have to go in the bath. I says, he absolutely stinks. I says, he's been rolling in the muck, horse's muck. We used to drag him upstairs. He used to get to the landing outside the bathroom, and his feet used to be cemented to the floor because he knew what was going to happen. He used to get him into the bathroom and into the bath, and well, this one time we got him all cleaned, but he still stunk. And when he brought him back downstairs, could still smell it on him. He still stunk. We just could not get rid of that smell. I was spraying perfume on him and all sorts. Couldn't understand how he was still, smelling, because he had been showered and had the shower on him and got him all clean and that. And anyway, I was petting him, and he put his face up to mine, because he used to give us what he thought was a kiss, like a lick on the face, and he opened his mouth. The smell nearly knocked me over. It was all around his teeth. That's where the smell was coming from. He had been eating the horse's muck. But that was him. I don't know what it was about horse's muck, but he often used to eat it if he come across any, not just rolling it. But that's just a little bit for today. I can tell you another story some other time about him. There's quite a few stories about Kim. He was a bit of a villain, actually. So that's my little bit for today. So thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you all another time. So bye for now.